The ancient book of Ezekiel describes a future war. It is often called the Gog and Magog War. People wonder if this prophecy is happening in our time now. This prophecy is found in chapters 38 and 39. The prophet Ezekiel wrote it over 2,500 years ago. He described a massive invasion of the nation of Israel. The prophecy begins with God speaking to a leader. This leader is named Gog, from the land of Magog. He is called the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. God tells Gog that in the latter years he will command a huge army. This army will come against the mountains of Israel, which had been desolate for ages. The people of Israel are described as being regathered. They have been brought back from many nations. They are living peacefully in their own ancestral homeland again. Israel is portrayed as a land of unwalled villages. Its people are living in safety and security. They are unsuspecting of the great attack that is coming towards them. Gog is not acting alone in this invasion. He is the head of a great confederacy of nations. Several specific allies are listed by the prophet Ezekiel in detail. The first ally mentioned by name is ancient Persia. Most scholars agree that this directly corresponds to the modern nation of Iran, a significant regional power today. Next, Cush and Put are named as part of the coalition. Cush is often identified with modern Sudan or Ethiopia. Put is generally linked with the region of modern Libya. The prophecy also lists Gomer and its troops. Beth Togarmah from the far north is also included. These are ancient names often connected to parts of modern-day Turkey. So, the invading force is a northern-led coalition. It includes nations from the north, south, and east of Israel. It is a multi-pronged and massive military alliance. The motivation for this grand invasion is clearly stated. Gog and his allies want to capture plunder. They seek to seize great spoil from the people of Israel. Nations like Sheba and Dedan, possibly in Arabia, question the invasion. They ask Gog if he has assembled his army just to take silver, gold, and livestock. This suggests that the future Israel of the prophecy is prosperous. It has significant wealth and resources. This makes it an attractive target for these greedy invading nations. The timing is very specific, the latter years. Many interpreters believe this points to the end times. It refers to the period after Israel's rebirth as a nation. The modern state of Israel was founded in 1948. For many prophecy watchers, this event started the clock. It made the fulfillment of Ezekiel's words seem very possible. Now we must ask the central question again. Are the events described by the prophet Ezekiel happening now? Are we currently witnessing the stage being set for this war? Let's look at the arguments for a yes answer. Proponents point to modern geopolitics. They see a striking resemblance between the prophecy and current international alliances in the world. Many identify Magog, Meshech, and Tubal with Russia. This is because these ancient territories were located north of the Black and Caspian Seas in modern-day Russia. The prophecy says the invaders come from the remote parts of the north. Looking at a map, Moscow is located almost directly due north of the city of Jerusalem. This geographical detail is very compelling for many people. They see Russia as the primary leader, the Gog, of this prophesied northern alliance that will attack Israel. The alliance between Russia and Persia is also significant. Modern Russia and Iran have formed a very strong military and strategic partnership in recent years, a notable development. This Russo-Iranian alliance is a key piece of the puzzle. It directly matches the prophecy's description of Magog, Russia, joining forces with Persia, Iran, against the nation Israel. Turkey's recent political shifts are also closely watched. Once a secular ally of the West, it has become more Islamist and has grown closer to both Russia and Iran. This changing stance aligns with Gomer and Beth Togarmah joining the coalition. These ancient names are strongly associated with the region of Anatolia, which is modern-day Turkey. The inclusion of Libya and Sudan also seems plausible today. These nations have experienced instability and have alliances that could easily place them in this anti-Israel coalition. So, the core invading nations are aligning as predicted. The Russia-Iran-Turkey axis, with support from nations like Libya, looks very much like the coalition Ezekiel saw long ago. What about Israel's condition, as described in the prophecy? The nation has been regathered from all over the world. This has been happening since its founding in 1948. Israel has also become incredibly prosperous since that time. It is a world leader in technology and innovation. It certainly possesses the great spoil that the invaders desire. The discovery of massive natural gas fields off Israel's coast adds another layer. This newfound energy wealth could be a major part of the plunder the invaders are seeking. Those who believe the war is near see these signs. They view the current geopolitical map of the Middle East as a blueprint of Ezekiel's ancient prophetic text. The nations are aligning perfectly, they argue. Israel is back in the land. It is prosperous. The motivation of plunder is clear. The stage appears to be fully set. However, there are strong arguments against this interpretation. Many scholars and theologians urge great caution. They point out some significant discrepancies between the prophecy and our current reality. The most significant issue is Israel's state of peace. Ezekiel describes Israel as living in security in unwalled villages. This is not the Israel we see today. Modern Israel is a military powerhouse in its region. It has one of the most advanced and formidable armies in the entire world, not a helpless, peaceful nation. The nation is surrounded by hostile enemies. It has formidable walls, fences, and high-tech security systems. It is certainly not a land of unwalled villages right now. This key detail leads many to believe the war cannot be imminent. Israel must first experience a period of genuine, lasting peace before this specific invasion could possibly occur. This period of peace could be the result of a future treaty. Perhaps a major peace deal, like the one described in the book of Daniel, must happen first. Once Israel feels truly secure and lets down its guard, then the conditions of Ezekiel 38 would be met. Only then would Gog see an opportunity to attack. Another point of debate is the identity of the invaders. While the Russia-Iran link is popular, it is not universally accepted. The names are ancient and obscure. Some scholars argue that Magog was in modern Turkey, not Russia. They contend that the entire invasion is a regional conflict, not one led by a global superpower. The term chief prince, or Rosh in Hebrew, is also debated. Some say it refers to a leader, while the King James Version translated it as a place, Russia. This translation difference is a major point of contention. If Rosh is not Russia, then the modern interpretation of a Russian-led invasion might be entirely incorrect and misleading. So, the identities of the main players are not set in stone. The connections to modern nations are interpretations, not certainties. We must be careful about making definitive claims. Let's return to the details of the prophecy itself. After the massive army invades Israel, the results are truly catastrophic for the invaders, a complete and total disaster. It is not the Israeli army that defeats them. God himself intervenes directly on behalf of his people. He unleashes his fury upon the invading forces from the north. The prophecy describes a great earthquake in the land. The mountains will be thrown down, and the cliffs will fall. Every wall will tumble to the solid ground. God will call for a sword against Gog. The soldiers of the invading armies will turn on each other. There will be widespread panic, chaos, and great internal confusion. Then, God will rain down judgment from the heavens. He will send torrents of rain, great hailstones, and burning sulfur upon Gog's armies, a truly devastating divine storm. The result is the complete and utter annihilation of the invaders. Their bodies will cover the mountains of Israel. They will be left as food for birds and beasts. The cleanup operation will be immense and time-consuming. It will take the people of Israel 7 full months just to bury all of the dead from this battle. The weapons left behind by the defeated army will be abundant. The people of Israel will use them for fuel. It will be enough to last them for 7 years. This divine intervention has a specific, stated purpose. God says, "I will make myself known in the eyes of many nations. They will know that He is the Lord." The war serves to reveal God's power and His sovereignty. It is a demonstration of His faithfulness to His covenant promises to the nation and the people of Israel. This supernatural destruction has obviously not happened yet. No such invasion and divine intervention have occurred in modern history. This is a very clear and undeniable fact. Therefore, even if the stage is being set now, the main event of the war has not yet begun. The climax of the prophecy remains a future event for all. So, where does this leave us in our discussion? Is the war happening now? The most accurate answer seems to be no. It is not happening at this moment. However, it is also true that many of the necessary preconditions seem to be falling into place. The alignment of nations is particularly striking and cannot be easily dismissed. The rebirth of Israel is a historical fact. The enmity of its neighbors, particularly Iran, Persia, is a daily headline. The rise of Russia is a global reality. The growing alliance between Russia, Iran, and Turkey is also a fact. This trio of nations is increasingly working together to reshape the power dynamics of the Middle East. Their cooperation in places like Syria has put their forces very close to Israel's northern border. This geographical proximity adds to the sense of an impending fulfillment. It is as if the actors in the play are assembling. The props are being put in place on the stage. The script was written long ago by Ezekiel. The final curtain has not yet risen on the main act, but many believe the orchestra is warming up. The preliminary movements of the prophecy are taking shape before our eyes. The missing piece is Israel's state of false security. That is the one major precondition that is currently not being met. This is a crucial point to remember. A major regional peace deal could change that very quickly. If Israel were to sign a treaty guaranteeing its security, it might be tempted to lower its defenses. Such a development would set the final peace in place. It would create the exact scenario of a peaceful, unsuspecting Israel that Ezekiel described in his ancient prophecy. At that point, the invasion for plunder would become logical. An enemy would see a rich, disarmed nation. The temptation to attack would be very great for them. Let's consider an alternative view of this prophecy. Some people believe this battle is not literal at all. They interpret it as a symbolic story of good versus evil. In this view, Gog represents the forces of chaos. Israel represents God's divine order. The war is a spiritual allegory, not a future military conflict with modern nations. Another interpretation places the battle in the distant past. The historian Josephus linked Magog to the Scythians, ancient horsemen who were a threat in the ancient Near East. However, this view has problems. A past fulfillment does not easily account for the latter year's timing or for the specific global consequences described in the prophecy. There is also a different eschatological timeline to consider. In the book of Revelation, a Gog and Magog battle is mentioned, but it happens after the millennium. This has led to some confusion among interpreters. Are Ezekiel's war and the war in Revelation the same event? Or are they two separate, distinct future battles? Most scholars believe they are two different wars. Ezekiel's war happens before a period of final redemption. Revelation's war happens at the very end of human history. They share the same name, Gog and Magog, which may be used as a title for Israel's ultimate enemies, but the timing and the participants seem to be different. So, focusing back on Ezekiel's specific prophecy, the debate continues. The signs are tantalizingly close to our modern reality, yet key elements remain unfulfilled for the moment. Believers are often encouraged to be like watchmen on a wall. They are to watch world events carefully, but without jumping to premature conclusions about prophetic fulfillment. The purpose of prophecy is not just to predict the future. It is meant to show that God is in control of history and that his ultimate plans will prevail. The story of Gog's invasion is a story of hubris. It's about a powerful leader who thinks he can defy God's plan and destroy God's people for his own gain. But the story's ultimate conclusion is about God's power. It shows that no human army or alliance, no matter how great, can succeed in thwarting God's divine will. This provides a message of hope for those who believe. It suggests that even in the darkest hours, when evil seems to be overwhelming, God has a plan to intervene. The details of how and when are known only to God. Humans can only interpret the signs of the times based on the texts that have been passed down. The connections between Ezekiel 38 and Russia, Iran, and Turkey are compelling. They are too specific for many people to simply dismiss them as pure coincidence. The current alliance is a modern phenomenon. For most of history, these nations were rivals, not partners. Their recent alignment is what makes the prophecy seem so timely. Yet, we must always return to the unfulfilled conditions. Primarily, Israel is a nation armed to the teeth, not a land of unwalled villages living in total peace. So, we are in a period of watching and waiting. The geopolitical chessboard is arranged in a fascinating way, but the final moves of the game have not yet been played. It is possible the current alliances could shift again. The Middle East is a very volatile region. Today's friend can easily become tomorrow's bitter enemy, and vice versa. Prophecy interpretation requires humility. Throughout history, many people have been certain that the end was in their time, only to be proven wrong by the passage of time. It is wise to study the text and observe the world. But it is unwise to set specific dates or to declare with absolute certainty that this event is happening now. The most one can say is that the world seems to be trending in the direction that Ezekiel described. The general framework of the prophecy looks increasingly plausible in today's world. The players are on the field. The motives are understandable. The location is clear. But the specific trigger for the event Israel's false peace has not yet been pulled. The war itself, with its supernatural climax, is certainly not happening now. We are not seeing fire from heaven or massive earthquakes destroying armies in the Middle East. We are seeing what could be the prelude to the war. We are witnessing the slow, deliberate formation of the alliances and the conditions that make the prophecy possible. Think of it like a gathering storm on the horizon. You can see the dark clouds forming. You can hear the distant thunder. But the rain has not yet begun to fall. This is where many people feel we are today. We are in the gathering storm phase of the Gog and Magog prophecy, not in the storm itself. In conclusion, the war of Gog and Magog is not literally happening right now. The invasion and the divine intervention described in the biblical text have not occurred yet. However, many of the geopolitical alignments prophesied by Ezekiel are remarkably visible in our current world. This has led many to believe the event is drawing very near. The alliance between Russia, Iran, and Turkey is the primary signpost. This coalition, hostile to Israel, matches the ancient prophecy in a way that is historically unprecedented. The main element that is still missing is Israel's condition of peace and false security. Until that happens, the specific conditions for the prophesied invasion are not fully met. Therefore, while the war is not happening now, the stage is arguably being set. Many continue to watch the Middle East, believing it holds the key to future events.